Robert's hat.
Ready for 1 year, and now he's about yeah.
All right, I will call this regular session of the Marshall County Board of Supervisors to order. We're meeting November 19th at 9 a.m. here at the courthouse first floor meeting room. The board encourages the public to remain engaged and actively participate. The supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the podium over here and use the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chair to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and/or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call vote will follow. Jarrett is online, so we'll do roll call vote, please.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
All right, if you would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I will move to approve today's agenda.
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
All right. Moving on to service awards. We have the opportunity to recognize a longtime county employee. Sheriff Phillips, would you like to come forward? And Pat and Christy. Go ahead and come up. Yeah.
It's your day.
This is Christy Kelly. She's been jailer with the Marshall County Sheriff's Office for 30 years. Typically with deputy sheriffs, we recycle badge numbers, reassign them for deputy sheriffs. For the jail division, we do not. Christy's badge number is number 5.
They've run the 130s now.
We're at 141.
141 today. So.
Yeah.
Christy, right now, her current assignment is a jail clerk. She keeps track of sentencing orders, any appointments, mental health, substance abuse, anything to do with the court, and then also with billing, room and board. So she's kind of the liaison between the clerk's office, the judges, and other agencies that have prisoners at our facility. So 30 years is a very long time in corrections. We know we at least got 5 more years out of her.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Almost 4.5.
Who's counting?
So when I started, Christy was actually one of my training officers, and so because I've been there 26 years, but she actually worked in the old jail on 212 South 2nd Avenue, if anybody remembers where that was at. So that's where she started, and that's where I worked with her there for a year. But yeah, so she's worn a lot of hats throughout the years for the sheriff's office. So if you look dependable up in the dictionary, there's a picture of Christy there. Truly, like she really takes care of us, and I think if you ask probation, parole office, probably the county attorney's office, clerk's office, a lot of those that she deals with, they're just like, Christy is an amazing person. So anyway, we really appreciate the time she's given to the county. So.
Yeah, well, 30 years is a remarkable feat in any career, let alone in corrections. So we truly appreciate all your work and your longevity, and we have a little certificate for you. We'll go around this way. And Jarrett will sign it when he is back.
Thank you so much.
She always has a smile.
Okay. We will move on to item number 6, the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda include the previous regular session minutes from November 5th, 2025, claims as audited, personnel changes, Tyler Stanley for secondary roads, truck driver 1, 31.57 per hour to start on or after November 20th, 2025. New hire Nicholas Gould, secondary roads, truck driver 1, 31.57 per hour to start on or after November 20th, 2025. New hire Daniel Shershmita. Thank you, Pat. Sheriff's Office jailer, 27.39 per hour to start on or after November 24th, 2025. And that is the end of the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve today's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
All right. Item number 8, approve recount for the Gladbrook-Rhinebeck bond referendum. Nan, would you like to address this?
Yes, when we put this on the agenda yesterday, about 10 till 9, we were on a call with the Secretary of State. We weren't 100% sure we needed this. Now we're 100% sure we do. Our recount will be at 11 a.m. today, and the individual will be here, and 2 folks from our office will be the other 2 folks counting. So we'll be down at the election center doing the recount then, and we'll have to count all of absentee because 3 of our 15 voters voted absentee, and then we'll be counting the Green Mountain location as well. So there'll be close to 1,600 ballots we'll be putting through our counter. So anybody that would like to view may come to the election center and watch us put ballots through. Very riveting.
Okay. Any questions or comments, Jarrett? Are you good with the information?
Yes, thank you very much, Nan.
Okay.
We did provide information. We don't have to really even publicly let people know, but we did let the parties know, the news media, trying to put on our Facebook, trying to get the information out as much as we could. The legislation really provided updates for candidates, but really didn't for bond referendums. So they really need some legislative cleanup on this.
And the new, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we always figure that stuff kind of looking back. Hindsight's 20/20.
All right. It sounds like then we need a motion to approve having the recount.
Please.
I'll move that we approve the recount for the Gladbrook-Rhinebeck bond referendum.
I'll second that.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item number 9. Motion to approve the adoption of a new 457B deferred compensation plan and authorize auditor recorder to sign all related agreements and documents. I believe we have someone here to speak to that.
That's correct, yes. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Monahan. I work for Corbridge Financial. I'm a fully licensed financial advisor, a salaried financial advisor, and that's kind of an important piece of this that I stress, right? The accounting team, and Nan have heard this already. But yeah, so work for Corbridge Financial as a provider. Corbridge specializes in in-plan employer-sponsored retirement plans. And so Corbridge is a part of the state of Iowa retirement plan, which is what I'm going to focus on talking about today, and then also a lot of county plans across the state. And then also I support a few nonprofits in the Des Moines area and things that we support as well. Real fast, for anybody who doesn't know who Corbridge Financial is, as a matter of fact, I've worked for Corbridge for a little over 3 years. About 3.5 years ago, I didn't know who Corbridge was either. So it's kind of a very common thing. People like, never heard of that before. Corbridge was founded actually back in the 70s under the name of VALIC. if you've heard of VALIC, that's been a long time retirement plan provider in the 403B in the school retirement plan business, and then was purchased by AIG in the 2000s, and then in 2022 was spun off from AIG again, and they decided to rebrand that VALIC Retirement Services Company into Corbridge. So it's kind of a brand new name for a long-standing retirement plan company. And so really what I'm here to talk about today is the option that all counties in the state of Iowa have that they can all make if they would like to. And that option is to join the state of Iowa's retirement plan if they would like. Most counties don't even know it's an option. I've done a lot of work over the last about 18 months to start making counties aware of this and really open their eyes to why it makes so much sense to at least strongly consider. And the main reason why it makes a lot of sense to do that is because of the drastic reduction in fees, simply because it is a much, much bigger retirement plan. So you can, anytime you get the scale going with larger, you can decrease the cost, right? And so we'll go through the ability that all counties have to be able to potentially do that. I'll share my screen. I'm going to go through just a couple of slides. Let's see here. Let's get this shared. Any questions kind of before I go further into that detail?
And maybe you'll address this. How many counties in Iowa are involved?
Great question. I've already converted in the last 18 months. I've converted myself 3 different counties. We already had 1 that was already inside of it, so there's 4, and we currently have 3 more in the docket to convert in. So it's kind of the ball's starting to roll kind of on this.
Okay.
Counties are learning about it. I just attended ISAC for the first time this past August and met Nan there, and we talked there about the option that all counties have. We're really starting to really spread the word about this, basically.
Okay.
So total of, I think there's 4 right now in the state's plan, and we have 3 more that I just had another county approved yesterday with their board to start. So it's kind of a process of getting it rolling. Make sense?
Thank you.
I bet you. All right, can we see the screen there? Looks like we're good there. So just a little quick agenda. So I already kind of introduced Corbridge. I won't spend a lot more time on that unless anybody has any questions. We'll go kind of comparison between current county plans. That I don't have all the specific details for the Marshall County plan because Corbridge is not currently a provider of the Marshall County plan, but we are a provider of a lot of other plans. So I know a lot of the kind of standard details that a lot of county plans look like. Go through that quickly. We'll go through what the RIC plan, which is what the state of Iowa plan is called. It's the Retirement Investors Club. I haven't handed you guys these sheets yet. I'll give you these as well for you to have. Let me give you this. The RIC with the state stands for, again, that Retirement Investors Club. So they'll hear it commonly referred to as a RIC.
You might clarify for the room how this is different than IPERS?
Yes, great question. Yeah. So this 457B plan is really the way to think of a 457B retirement plan. It's really like a governmental employee version of a 401k. Is the way to think of it. It's IPERS is your defined benefit plan. That is the pension. That is where you don't make any decisions on IPERS. There's a set amount that you have to contribute. It's invested by the IPERS agency. You don't make any decisions on IPERS until you want to leave employment and or retire. On this 457B, you get to decide whether or not you ever participate. You get to decide how much per paycheck you contribute. You get to decide how to invest the funds. You've got full flexibility with this account. It is a true investment account similar to a 401k. Clear there? Any questions on that? So it's kind of the additional piece of your retirement package in addition to IPERS. It's really the way to think of it.
Can you take a question from here? Our financial planners, because I know there are individuals and then you're working for a whole company.
Yeah.
Is there any governance on, say you get hooked up with one that embezzles the whole plan? Because that happened in my family, $300,000. He embezzled it,
Yep.
and my children didn't get it. So is there governance on that with financial planners?
I can't give the legal input and things, but in a general sense, I do believe that in that type of situation, there should be some legal protections, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Can't say for certain. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but in a general sense, yeah, I would be confident that, yeah, there would be some kind of help. Make sense? Okay, great. So let's move on forward here. So the state's retirement plan, really this 457B is the exact same type of an account, that 457B with the state's current, or sorry, with the county's current plan and at the state of Iowa. 457B at both locations. And then both still have the pre-tax and the Roth contributions available. The county does have Roth as well. Not all counties do. County has Roth available. Still would have both pre-tax and Roth, same exact way. But the state's plan, again, larger employer, much higher assets. A lot of times when I work with with individual counties, you're talking, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in a retirement plan. When you look at the state of Iowa plan, you're talking literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars inside of the plan. The scale is unbelievably different, and that's why there's such a big difference in the overall cost to these. Another piece that the state does, they do a lot of the administration work for the county, and that is listed on this RIC plan services. I can get into that in a little bit more detail if we'd like to. But the state does, with that fourth bullet point, rebid this contract every 5 years as well. So your county plan, if you were a part of this, would continue improving over time because the state is continuing to do that due diligence, rebid the contract every 5 years. And then the last piece, the main reason why this can get so much less costly to investor fees is because it is mutual fund based. The vast majority, every county plan that I have seen is annuity based. That's basically, and it's an insurance product that tries to act like an investment product, and it's expensive. The state of Iowa's plan is an indexed mutual fund. That means it is very, very low cost, very low fee for the investors for their investment expenses. I'm going to get into a lot more details there, but any questions on that high level? Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go through two different examples of kind of how this fee, been talking fees, and that's the main message. We'll talk through how that plays out. So the example is, first one is a 25-year-old who works with the county until the age of 60. Let's say they invest $300 per month into a target date fund. $300 might be a lot for a 25-year-old when they're getting going, and it maybe, but we're just saying just easy numbers. They're doing $300 every single month while they work. It assumes just an 8% rate of return for all of these different scenarios. So the rate of return on the investment is the identical. The only difference I'm going to show here is the fee impact. So a Corbridge County plan that we have with a lot of our current counties that we support, that target date fund has a total fee of 1.89% annually. That is too high, in my opinion. That's why I do this, is to try to spread the word. I always tell people, if I were an employee at any county, I would want to do the state of Iowa plan because, man, oh man, I know that fee is too high. I don't want to pay that in my own financial planning. I wouldn't want anybody that I'm working with to pay that either, if we can do better. So their balance at retirement, 8% rate of return, 1.89% in fees annually. With that, those contributions would be about $466,000. Do a compare on a nationwide. I have a lot of counties do have nationwide. I know that Warren County does as well as one of their providers. Their 2060 target date fund has a 1.35% fee. I've seen that at other counties. I don't have that specific number for this county, but I assume there's a good chance it's the right number. The balance at retirement for that, a little bit lower fee, actually half a percentage point lower fee, $528,000 of total nest egg at retirement. Inside of the state of Iowa plan, a 2060 target date fund only has an all-in cost, 0.22%. Drastically lower than both Corbridge and Nationwide, balance at retirement of $690,000. So you're talking just comparing the Nationwide to the state of Iowa RIC plan, over a 30% higher account balance just because we tried to be fee specific and be critical of the fees that we're paying. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so another example. A lot of times it's the type of thing where I start working with folks at counties, and they say, "Well, I'm going to retire in 2 years. I don't need to do this," And I'm like, I get that mindset, but let's dive into it. Let's see if it makes sense. So let's actually go through those details. So this kind of addresses that situation. A 60-year-old in a 2030 target date fund who has maybe $250,000 in their 457. Total annual expenses with those exact fee structures this year alone. So the fees of a 2030 target date fund inside of our plan, again, 1.89%, same exact fee. That person with the $250,000 account balance would pay almost $5,000, $4,725 in fees this year. That's just taking that 250 times the 1.89. The fees on the 2030 nationwide plan that I've seen has a fee of 2.27%. That comes out to $5,675 in fees every year. RIC plan also has a 0.22% fee for the 2030 target date fund, $550 in fees. So it's like, I've sat down with people, be like, well, you don't have to, you are a couple years from retirement. Maybe you won't have it in that plan after retirement things, but if it's anywhere close to this, do you want to save $5,000? It's like, yep, let's do it. We're doing it today. And it's kind of the proofs in the pudding with looking at the fee structure. Any questions on that? All right, so considerations, the opportunity here, really just to main point, significantly reduce investment costs. That is the number one absolute piece that's the most valuable. Then you also do get that ongoing contract update from the state every year, and let's focus on this sheet now, on this RIC plan services. A lot of these, responsible party, if you do use the RIC plan, they take care of all of this, the rest of this list with those different administrative sides of things. The county would still just be responsible for those top 4, which would be plan options, payroll deductions, remitting payroll deductions to providers, and monitor maximum contribution limits. Everything else from an administration perspective, including the liability of the plan, is shifted to the state. And then the last piece, the opportunity is change, switching to mutual funds, lowering those fees. As we know, change can also be a pro and a con. So I do have that on the challenges as well. There is a small cost paid to the state. So the initial setup fee, it would be determined, it could be anywhere from $200 to $500. That is all in a one-time startup fee of $200 to $500 for the county.
What determines that?
How much work the state has to do with current providers. Are you transferring funds over? Are you terminating? They would talk with staff after a meeting and figure out how much work is basically on their end. If there was a lot of work, at maximum, it's $500, one time $500.
Yeah, no more than
No more than that. And it's not per employee, it's in total for the county. And then there's also the $150 annual fee that the county would then pay to the state. That just helps with their ongoing administration. It all goes to the state.
total.
Total.
One
That's it.
fif- yeah,
One time.
150
Exactly. So
annual.
it's really,
Yeah.
you're talking about a
150
couple $100
annual.
bucks. A couple $100 a year to have the plan. Yeah. Bet. And then the last thing for the challenge is change. A lot of times, it's man, I've had this account forever and I don't really want to make any changes. It's easy to just keep it and things like that. And it's like, I get that, it's easy to get stuck in your habits and things. And if you're comfortable with it, but I'll help people if they would like to challenge that and be like, let's do the math. Let's just lay all the options out. I'll help you, we'll get all the information on the table to help you make the right choice.
So one of the recommendations when I first heard him was just adding this as an additional
Yep.
To what we
option
already
to
have.
what we already offer.
Talk about that next slide, you
And
betcha.
one of the reasons is because the companies we currently have could charge some substantial fees if we force them to leave where they're at.
Yeah.
So why do that? Just if people want to
Add
stay,
this
they
as
can
an
stay.
option. Yeah.
Exactly.
They can roll if they want to, leave it up to them.
Yep. So what I see in general, and we'd have to dive into it and make sure, is that if you did decide to leave the plans that you currently have open, for anybody that's already contributing, if you don't have anybody contribute, then you could maybe make another decision. But for anybody currently contributing to any of those other providers, leave it open. Open this one next to it, and then we could just go through the process to see if they would want to transfer. And there's a good chance that if they did want to transfer, they may not have any fees to do so if they make the choice themselves. Where there a lot of times on a more percentage basis that there is a fee is if the employer decides to shut it down. Now there are surrender fees and things like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we
Yeah.
can figure
So
out
it could
all
be up
those
to the
details.
employees. Yeah.
Leave it up to the employees.
Do you have the number of employees that we have that choose to participate?
We have 4 different providers. One of the providers, we have no employees. The two, one is close to retirement and has transferred, the other has retired. We've got one with,
I think on the data sheet, I believe it was listed as 9. Does that sound right? 9. 9 out of
Okay.
the 170 that I think
I've
was
had
eligible.
different people talking to me about it, saying, oh, I've thought about doing this.
Yeah.
Just haven't, went ahead and done it, and
And that would be, this is it's a great opportunity for that as well, is that's what I will help with too on the marketing efforts, getting in front of staff and different departments and things to be like, hey, this is the best time to be doing it. If you want to do it, let's talk about it and things like that too. I would want to come in and it's, let's get that number to 50 or more, you know what I mean? And let's get it rocking and rolling, so.
And my understanding on the significant difference in the fees is because of the volume. Because of the
Yes,
size of the
because of the
pool.
size of the plan, and then the state of Iowa, back a long time ago when annuity-based investments were kind of the standard, the best you could do. The state of Iowa had an annuity-based plan that was high cost. Investment industry has changed so much in the 2 decades since they had that. Now they've gone to the low-cost mutual funds because their plan is so big. Yes, exactly. And that's just drastically reduced those costs.
Jarrett, do you have comments or questions before we go on?
No, I'd just say that it's good to have options for our employees. It's good to have low-cost options to the county. So thanks for the presentation today. It's been very good. Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, I would concur with what Jared just said, giving our employees more options for their retirement. So, thank you for your presentation.
Absolutely. Yep. And I'm happy to go through if you want to see like kind of how the next steps would work. If we want to move on, that's perfectly fine. If you run out
Yeah,
of time,
I mean,
do it quickly.
if you can
Let's do
go.
it. Yeah, so if it was decided to approve of the RIC plan, basically the county NAN probably could provide a notification email to me saying the Board of Supervisors approved. I would then send the state. The state then provides a service agreement back to the county to review. It's a pretty general agreement. You're not locking yourself into anything other than joining the state's plan, not making any decisions on the current providers now, right? We decide that afterwards. Then once that was decided, then we would hold a meeting with the state, with Corbridge, and with the county to decide retaining all plans, terminating any of those things. Then that initial startup cost would be determined, and then we would start a payroll process to test payroll, make sure the contributions are going to work appropriately, and then I would be helping on the marketing efforts to inform employees to spread the word about it and see how many people we can't get signed up, and then we'd set a go live date, and then it would start.
Is that something they could start participating in at any time?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anytime.
It's
They can
it's
just-
not- It's
anytime.
not like open enrollment and
Yeah.
those type of
Any
things,
point in
no.
time. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, so then just the proposal to end I guess we don't have the Corbridge plan, so really just to join the state of Iowa's 457B retirement plan, that proposal. So that's it.
Any other comments or questions, Jared or Kevin?
Thank you.
Betcha.
Thank you, Sean.
And Jared, I'll leave you a copy of this as well. Did you?
If you leave that with me, I'll
Yeah,
get it.
sure. Does
to
anybody
the
else
desk.
want a copy? Any other? I've got plenty here. If anybody else? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve the adoption of the new 457B deferred compensation plan and authorize the auditor recorder to sign all related agreements and documents.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
The only note I'll make is I will have Jordan or Keo review the document before I sign it.
Before it's brought to us for our review.
Yeah, well, and I'm the one signing everything, but yeah, if there's anything weird, we'll have you guys
Okay.
know, but yeah. I'm
Okay.
guessing it's pretty standard if that many have signed it. One
Okay.
other question, do you have any cities on this?
We do, yeah. So I haven't
I
started
just
that.
looked up and seen Sarah and I thought,
That's right. Yeah. So Polk City is another one that we had a individual Corbridge plan with that I also transferred into the state's plan as well. So
Okay.
yeah, cities, any local government can do it. So
okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Betcha.
just, it's
Thank you.
just,
Appreciate it.
hey, Sarah's sitting here. All right,
All right, we'll
you
move.
don't have to, no. Thanks.
We'll move on to item number 10, approval of additional non-union state holidays. And this is specifically related to the governor allowing state employees additional days off. I believe it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve day, is that
It's
correct?
Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve,
Wednesday, November 26th.
yes.
For state employees, and then Wednesday, which is New Year's Eve
I
day,
think it's 24th. Christmas-
December 24th.
December 20th, Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you said New Year's.
Oh, I did? Sorry.
She's ready to go out for
I'm
New
ready,
Year's
yeah,
Eve.
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I meant Christmas, yeah. Thank you for the clarification. I guess, do you want to give, we did
Currently,
this
we're-
last year as
Currently,
well, I
we
believe.
are already getting Christmas Eve. We're closing at noon already. 2 years ago, we took, we were out at noon, I believe, on the day before Thanksgiving, noon, and, you know, and I think we had a Board of Supervisor meeting that day. I don't know that we did this last year and the courts were closed. That is the last working day of November. So I don't know. I think Jarrett spoke to Deanne about that for payments in your office. So I always just kind of think about that from that side of things as well.
day of November ends on a Sunday.
Deanne, do you
Oh,
want
you get December 1st, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Deanne Tomlinson, Marshall County Treasurer. Since November 30th is on a Sunday, that allows people to pay on December 1st without penalty
Okay,
for motor vehicle and property tax.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, comments or questions from Jarrett or Kevin?
I'm good with being consistent with the state holidays. A lot of our, well, we have courts closed anyway, number one. Number two, we have, a lot of our services are tied to state services. And it falls right, typically slow days of holidays. So I'm very comfortable with these 2 days to match with the state.
I am too.
Okay. So with that being said, I would entertain a motion that allows for that.
I move that we approve an additional non-union state holidays for the Wednesday.
second.
Yep.
So clarifying that for Wednesday, November 26th, and Wednesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
All right. Item number 11, Library Board appointment. I believe Sarah is here to speak.
Sarah Rosenblum, Library Director, Marshalltown Public Library Director, 105 West Spoon. Yes, we do have, so the Library Board is composed of 7 board members, 6 city residents, and 1 county resident was added. Well, I've been here 14 years, so 16, 18 years ago, I believe, I'm not sure. That was an ordinance. Again, I believe ordinances are voted on by the city residents. So, and the ordinance is pretty brief. It just says, and of course, the phone just timed out on me. It's Katie's phone. That the mayor selects, appoints the member to the library board, and the county approves it. And then it goes back to the city for approval by the whole council. So I don't know why it was designed that way. I can try to find other information, but that is how it's been done. This is, when I started, we had Barbara Burt. She was our first county member. And then Judy Lindholm has been on the board for the past 7 years, and now we have this vacancy. Judy is stepping down. So, yeah, and it's nice to have somebody to represent the interest of the rural Marshall County. As you know, there are 6 libraries in Marshall County. We are kind of the mothership in some ways. I mean, we don't have any control over them, but we all work closely together. And, yeah, so I don't know what else you'd like to know. We're very, I would recommend Ronnie Manis, who the mayor has wished to appoint. He was a previous member. He had to step down when he moved to the rural part of the county. Ronnie is a distinguished educator, well-known in our community, has served on other boards, and has expressed to me very eager now with his retirement to do more public service. So.
I'll open it up for questions from Jarrett or Kevin first here.
Thanks for being here, Sarah. I don't have any questions. Thanks for that explanation of what the role is of appointing a Board of Trustee member.
Okay. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I will just add that I've known Ronnie for a number of years, worked with him in his role at the school when he was, I think, first in IT with the school, and then a longtime Anson Elementary principal, but also a community volunteer, and I've worked with him quite a bit in his community volunteer role, and I've always found him very fair and open-minded and easy to work with, so.
He will be a real asset to the board. I will say he is filling out Judy Lindholm's term, so we'll be back. I will be retired, but he will be back. This decision will come back to you in 2028, that we'll go through the process again.
So this is a 2-year
Yeah, he's
filling
just
out
filling
the
out the
term.
term, yes. We
Yeah.
do try to stagger our terms. There is no gender requirement anymore, but this is nice because it does get us a 3 male, 4 gender board, which is nice to have. I think it is good to have a good representation on our board. I will mention this is a governing board, for those of you who don't know. So unlike the mayor, or the police chief, or the fire chief, who report to Carol Webb, who reports to the council, I actually report to the board. It is a governing board. I'm an at-will employee, and that is how most libraries, almost the majority of libraries in Iowa are set up, with a governing board. So I think a lot of people they're not aware of that fact.
And that board is accountable to the city of Marshalltown.
It is, but the state, in their wisdom, gave library boards a lot of leeway to run the libraries for the community. I believe maybe you could say they didn't want them to be political footballs. So I've worked in, most states I've worked in have advisory boards, but I've worked for another governing board in New Jersey, and I remember we had to get the board to sign all the checks, and I'm sure Nan would know that's always difficult sometimes to corral people to come in and sign checks. So I'm glad we don't do that in our board. So.
Okay. Okay. I don't think the board has any other questions for you right now. Would anyone else like to speak to this? Okay. If you want to.
My name is John Warden. I live in Green Mountain, which is in Marshall County. I'm here to encourage the board, the supervisors, not to confirm this appointment. The past record of appointees from the mayor has not proven beneficial to patrons. And I have 2 examples. The first was several months ago, Board President Gaffney requested a list, which is unheard of, a list of people that wanted to read the American Rifleman and the Epic Times in the library. So it was easy to gather more than 200 signatures and phone numbers of people who wanted the material displayed on shelves. Those are the words, displayed on shelves, with current newspapers and magazines at no cost to the MPL. It was submitted and it was dismissed because the wording said displayed on shelves instead of want to read in the library. And actually, this list is more inclusive of thousands of patrons because it says they want it on the shelves. A list stating that you want to read it refers to the list, not thousands of patrons. So number 1, I challenge anyone to provide a list of names who wanted every title in that building now. Second example is a narrative from last night's library board meeting. I mentioned that I knew one of the members, Judy Lindholm, erroneously represented the library. She stated to me that she represented the library, not the board. Trustee handbook states that library trustees represent community, not the library. I invited all of the board members to affirm patron representation by staying after the meeting to discuss matters or specify a time and place better suited to do so. I also suggested that a third neutral party could attend. I asked them to confirm the invitation during their comment time. They would have to work out the details to follow meeting laws. Board comment time immediately follows patron comment time. In board comment time last night, not a word of confirmation was said. This refusal to engage patrons was nothing new and more proof of their disdain for patrons. The cycle of appointing disingenuous individuals has to stop. 3 of the patrons last night that were invited to stay and engage patrons were recent appointees since 2023. So the record of appointments is not good. We need fresh thinking on that board. And I encourage you to vote no on this appointment. That's all I have to say. Thank you for not timing these comments.
John, what specifically would prevent us from approving Mr. Manis?
The record of previous appointments has proven to be not beneficial to county patrons. I just explained. They didn't say anything. They didn't say anything to support the list. Nothing. They were supposed to represent patrons in Marshall County. Well, Marshalltown and Marshall County. Not one of them said a word. They just let the president of the board dismiss the whole thing. So his recommendations are poor. That's the whole thing. I could stand here for an hour and expound on this. I have sent you much material. And the cycle needs to be broken. And,
John,
Yes.
have you talked with Ronnie Manis?
no, I've not.
Okay.
I read his application, and it's good, certainly is good, but we need new people. We need new thinking now. This is 2025. And so we've, all the time that Judy has been on the board, she's not represented the county. We have supported the library without representation. That's what it comes down to. That's got to stop.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Jarrett, do you have any comments or questions for John?
No, thanks for being here today, John. Thanks for all the information you provided us, and I certainly appreciate that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Ray Mitchum, 1402 South 3rd Avenue here in Marshalltown. I just am wanting to support what John just said because I'm very well aware of exactly everything that he went through, and I confirm that it is true, and it's really disheartening. I mean, I've lived in Marshall County essentially my entire life, and I've been active with the library, especially through the county, the Marshalltown school systems, because I taught here for almost 40 years in the Marshalltown area, and I've been very supportive of the library. And then when I started to realize that the Epic Times is certainly a valid newspaper publication that is not only nationwide, but it's international, and how it presents a different view, which I think, as many in this room would agree, is needed in this country, is different viewpoints. And being a science person that I am, I especially followed it all the way through the COVID situation, and the science research that I've done. I know the Epic Times has some good fact-based science that the library board just completely rejected. And they even said that they did a deep dive on the Epic Times and found the science to be misleading. Well, the science background that I've had, there certainly is valid science besides other things. And hopefully you recognize the Epic Times as being an international paper that should be displayed. And adults should have the opportunity to have it available along with the Des Moines Register and the TR to read if they want to. And this isn't a child thing where we have to control a children's reading. So adults having access is all we're asking. And if I were on the board of the library, I would be embarrassed that all this time the board, they pretend like they don't want us there to show that there is more than one side. So I think there's personal biases here that have gotten in the road of a public decision. And it is a public library. So I've been a professional all of my life. I've worked in professional circles, in investments, as well as, some of you may remember the Gallup Neuroth Mitchum Insurance Agency. Well, I worked with my dad, Howard Mitchum, with Cleet Neuroth and Loris Neuroth later on. So we've always been pillars of the community, of supporting what the community should be allowed to do or have access to. And that's all that we're asking. And why the library board, and this is why I'm supporting that we need new blood, because unfortunately the new appointees have been the same bias as I've observed now every month for over 2 years. And so I just think that this is something that the County Board of Supervisors need to take seriously on getting some new people in there that are supporting the patrons and not a biased opinion. So that's my opinion.
Ray, I have a question for you. Have you talked with Ronnie Manis about your concerns?
No. I know of him, but I just thought that I don't know whether he is aware of the situation. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had an opportunity to find out if he's aware of what's been going on. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this is my opinion, but it's an observation over several years that I feel substantial about what John has presented. Thank you.
Sue?
My name is Susan Fink, 806 Ratcliffe Drive in Marshalltown. I was a previous member of the Board of Trustees at the library with Ronnie Manis. He's a good man. Mm-hmm. I also want to comment on one of John's indications that the library members, trustee members would not meet with him. It would have to be an open meeting. I know from the rules of the library that you can't meet with all of the board members and one person. That's illegal. So, but I recommend Ronnie. He was a great member of our board. He has a lot of experience in the education field, and I think he would do a fantastic job. I just have to say that he would do a good job. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah. Well, I think the gentleman next to you hasn't spoken yet. Does?
Got a question, does it?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I understand that there are rules that the board has to operate under, and and I mentioned it in my narrative here. I'm leaving it to them to work that out. They should work that out. And as far as meeting with one trustee, that's fine. But I believe Ray can confirm that when he asked to meet with Sandy Bennett refused to allow me to attend. She just wanted to meet with him and not me. So, the board can't take the heat. It finally came to a head in April of 2023 when they adopted punitive and reactionary policy. Wrote a completely new policy that has eliminated now probably 30 of my statements of concern. That means the statements of concern do not go to the agenda. So for all those months, they were not on the agenda. That means the public could not see that a patron had concerns. So also that the issue would not be considered again for 5 years. That's written in the policy. So we officially can't talk about this until 2028. That's why we've been on this for, 37 months now. So the board just doesn't want anything to do with this.
Lee Searle, I live at 2285 Shady Oaks Road. I'm a frequent patron of the library, mostly the historical section. I can't check anything out from there, and I've spent a lot of time back in the catacombs reading lots of great stories about the early residents of Marshall County. I do read the newspaper, and quite some time back I saw an editorial in there by John, so since then I've attended 5 or 6 meetings. I can tell you what I've observed, and it's not good. You collect taxes from the members of Marshall County and you send it to the library, and they do not listen, they do not talk about these issues, they tolerate public comment, and then the meeting's closed after that. There aren't any votes, there aren't any discussions. This is your one opportunity to choose somebody who can change that. So I had nothing against Mr. Manis, but I would encourage you to vote no. It's interesting to me, if you go online and you look at the Iowa Library Association or the National Library Association, their number one concern is censorship from the patrons on the material they have on their shelves. They don't deal with this issue of political agendas that preclude the library from having material on their shelves. Furthermore, I've tried to correspond with them and they will not do it. I'm an avid reader. I read 3 or 4 hours a day. I've had nothing but good experiences, professional experiences with the library. I've got to go talk to them now about a book that's 1,200 pages that they got from the Red Oak Library for me, and I'm not going to get done by the time I'm supposed to have it done. So I've had nothing but good experiences. But this issue is weaponized. There's blank spaces in the library. It would cost them nothing to put the Epic Times on their shelves and the American Rifleman. It's no big deal. They've chose to make it a big deal. The media in this country are controlled by 6 media companies. There's lots of newspapers, but only 6 people control that. But the Epic Times is outside that sphere. I think that makes it worthwhile. If there's anything we should all be promoting, it's critical thinking skills. I've observed these 2 gentlemen in several meetings, and they have been most professional. As a matter of fact, if there's an opening on the Board of Supervisors, I would seriously recruit John to run for that board because he is a thorough researcher, he's a very reasonable person, and he's asking you a very reasonable thing, and that is to vote this appointment down. Nothing against Mr. Manis, but I think you should consult with John and Ray since they've been on this issue for so long. And this issue is purely political, it's purely weaponized, and that should not be allowed to happen. You're helping collect taxes to pay a librarian that gets paid over $200,000 a year between salary and benefits. And she's responsible to the taxpayers in Marshall County. And this is the only chance you have to have input. Thank you. I'd answer any questions.
My name is Linda Clark. I've lived here in Marshalltown 3/4 of a century, and I have attended many of the board meetings that they have had at the library. I have read where these two gentlemen that have spoke here this morning have been attacked publicly in the paper, and that is not a good thing. I do appreciate everything that we do have at the library. When I have been there, I've been treated courteously. I have always, gotten answers to my questions. But I do agree with them. This person that is being considered to be appointed, he's been there before. That doesn't necessarily make him somebody that's going to represent all of the people. Another point that they didn't mention, these subscriptions were paid subscriptions they asked to just have them there at the desk with the Times-Republican and the Des Moines Register, which is being paid. There are a number of people in this community and around the county that cannot afford those papers, and they like to look at them hard copy. You just heard a person here speak. And so this is what I want. I want us to feel that we are being all represented, not the things that have been happening. It upsets me when I feel like there has to be a police officer in there at the meetings. We have never, ever been disruptive. Never. And we only ask for just consideration to represent everyone. So thank you for listening.
Anyone else? Okay. Jarrett or Kevin, comments?
Obviously, it's pretty controversial.
Seems to be.
Yeah. Sarah, is there a reason that these two publications?
Do you want to?
This has been an ongoing 3-year concern. These publications were requested. We have a process. It's through the collection development process. It is the process that has to be approved by the state library. Katie oversees that process. We've actually had numerous meetings where we looked at the material. I do take offense to the deep dive. We actually have a process where we study requests for the library. Staff did a lot of research, and we decided that we did not feel that these two items belonged in our library. The library has over 5,000 magazines available to us digitally, and at least a dozen of them are similar to the American Rifleman. Those are available 24 hours a day. Either you can use them in the library on one of our computers or your home. There's also a number of magazines that are similar to the Epic Times. For instance, I called the Ankeny Library that does have the Epic Times. They told me in February they did they do an in-house count, and they said nobody read the paper. We used to take a dozen newspapers. We now take 4. We're actually dropping the USA Today because of cost, so we'll be down to the Des Moines Register, the Times-Republican, and the Wall Street Journal, which does get read every day. The board considers this a settled matter. We've consulted with the attorney, the city attorney, over this matter. Frankly, it's been a very long process, and we feel that we have done everything proper. And I understand that not everybody can be satisfied. This is the process, though, that we followed. The board has stood by it. They consider it a settled matter. So.
Anything else for Sarah, Jarrett, or Kevin? No. Thank you, Sarah. John?
as far as the process went for consideration of the two publications, that was weaponized. And in this way, the deep dive that was mentioned, and that's a quote, was done into known biased sources. The copies of the materials were not supplied to the board members 30 days prior to the vote. We know that happens because several months later, in considering a children's book, copies of the book were provided to the board members to take home for 30 days. The magazine and newspaper were not provided to the board members 30 days before that vote. And what's the point of consulting an attorney? There's nothing legal going on here. We're just protesting and doing it in a civil manner. In June of 2023, one patron actually yelled at Ray, Linda, and myself in the board meeting. The board refused to stop him and restore decorum. We sat in silence because we'd already talked in our comment time. We sat and listened to it. And since that happened, there's been no apologies, and the board and staff didn't bother to stop this person. So, yes, it's been a long, drawn-out process. It's just ridiculous that these two publications can't be displayed. Two generous patrons stepped up in February of 2023 and offered years' worth of both publications. And we are bolstering the library. We are wanting to add material, popular, pertinent, and timely material to a library. The people that come and to the meetings and were backing the board are nothing more than censors hiding behind the board. That's all they are. They don't want new material in the library.
Okay. Jarrett, would you like to comment anymore? Or, oh, we have another speaker.
Again, I am here not only to support the honesty of Mr. Warden, but I am one of those patrons who has even supplied the prescription or the subscription of the Epic Times to the library, so it's no financial obligation to the library. And every week, since the Epic Times is a weekly paper, I deliver it personally to the library, and I can't put it on the shelf next to the TR. That's not allowed. It's got to be on the free counter. And of course, when I bring it in every week and put it on the free counter, I've often gone back even the afternoon of when I take it and it's gone. Now, does that mean that there are patrons who really want to read that and I can take it home and read it? But I'm the only one that can take it home because now it's gone and nobody else can read it. And so, and I've gone in a day after and it's gone. So it's not there for free reading very long in a lot of cases. So it's just a matter of not only is it fair, but to me it's embarrassing. Like I said, like Mr. Sherrill said, we're making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, it's just an easy thing to put a publication available to adults. And why that they have made it such a deal, I'm concerned. And if the board members were truly representing us, they would certainly want to find out more information. And they have never had any interest in that. And of course, we can only speculate as to why that is. But I think a lot of us know what the answer is. But I think, like I said, I have nothing against the new person wanting to be approved. But I just think, people like Mr. Searle and those that have lived in our community, and of course, he lives outside the city limits, so he's eligible, and he's applied, and new, what I call integrity. I mean, I think a person needs to have a character, integrity, to represent a part of our community. And this is what I think we have to be careful of, and I appreciate the board considering why this is important. So thank you.
Thank you.
So Ray, what is the answer that you're alluding to but haven't
Well,
told us?
I think the answer, like Mr. Warden said, and like Lee Searle said, I think we need new blood, and I think there was, and of course, a man would be more of a balance, which of course you have as the new appointee by the mayor. But I think that someone that is trying to represent all the patrons is what I think we need, and that's what I don't see happening these last few years. That I've been directly involved for several years now with John, so I've seen firsthand some of the things that he has mentioned. And it is sad, and it shouldn't be a part of our professional position as the library director, a board of trustees, and I know several of the board of trustees personally. I've worked with them professionally, and I just am embarrassed, really, in a way, that they would represent a biased position. Is what I just feel that, from my observation, we just need another voice that hasn't been there and needs to be supportive. So I would ask that you do not approve him, even though he's probably very capable. He's already been there once, but I think some of these new applicants that are very, I don't know whether you know that I even applied a couple years ago for an open position, and of course I knew I wouldn't be accepted, even though my resume, you can't, I think, get discouraged by reading my resume, but certainly I wasn't on their side. And really, I have observed that more than I care to even recognize. And then after the letter to the editor downgrading both of us, and he was presumably supporting the library board. But if you read that letter to the editor, I shouldn't have even been up in front of city council, because I'm not smart enough. He downgraded me where, how did I even be a science teacher? And it's just too bad that you have to be supported by people of that character, which I think John and I have been in the community long enough that people know better. And I just hope that they realize that it's their time to speak up, because we need to have another voice. So that's why I'm here. And thanks for your consideration.
Just one more thing. To answer your question, Kevin. Okay, so there would be a process. In other words, if you vote not to confirm this person, then I assume then that the mayor of Marshalltown would then appoint another applicant, okay? So there's 4 other applicants. There's 2 ladies and 2 men. Lee Searle has applied, and so has Monty Eaton. So those 4 applicants, then I assume the mayor would appoint if you refuse to confirm Manis, okay? So So then the mayor would be given the choice of picking from those four. Well, actually, there isn't any more need for females on the board because it's already imbalanced. So then hopefully he would pick between Lee and Monty Eaton, and we are much more supportive of those two individuals. We know them personally, we've read their applications, they have wide-ranging world experience. Lee has been an auditor, I believe, in the county before. Monty is as an entrepreneur. Both of those gentlemen would be excellent. So there is a process. It would just be set back a bit if you do not confirm today. Okay. All right.
Okay. Sarah?
I just want to say that every day the library receives overwhelming support from the community. People stop me in the grocery store. They ask me to come out to talk to them. They tell me how much they love the library, how much they talk about my staff by name, Joe, Katie, Logan. They give us financial support. They send us flowers. They write me, a couple of years ago, I got so many Valentine's cards. I thought, I didn't get this many when I was in elementary school. People tell me that they do pay attention. They read what's happening. They support the library. They support the decisions of the board. I'm very comfortable with Ronnie Manis's decision. Honestly, I don't know what the process is if you decide not to approve the mayor's appointee. But I do know that the bulk of the community, overwhelmingly, I just had a gentleman 2 days ago ask me, tell me that he supported us. I'm just saying that they're not here. We probably could have filled this room with supporters of the library. And we didn't feel that that was necessary, but I can tell you that there is great support among the community, both city community members and rural community members, for the board and the decisions that the board makes.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I just couldn't let that go by. I wonder how many times today we've said that there's no better friends of the library than who has been represented here for the other side. I mean, I've been a friend of the library all my life, and I know John and Lee and Linda have both represented the fact that there's nothing against the library. We love the library, and that's why I always brought my kids here as students for science projects. And one of the things that I always encouraged my science students when they did research was to look at all sides possible. And I think most of you that understand particularly science research, you're trying to search for all sides. And so that's why I've been a friend of the library all my life. So it's not the matter of supporting friends of the library. It's just a matter of seeing if we do have a good library, why not make it a little better by not succumbing to some biases that, hey, the Epic Times, you don't want to read that. That's bad news. Or the American Rifleman. How many years has the American Rifleman been in publication? And why wouldn't you want it available for adults to read? And this is what's so disturbing, is that, you argue, well, I have all kinds of friends of the library that support it. Yes, I hope we do. And I certainly have been one of the top supporters, as the others have too. So that's not the point. The issue is, hey, if we have such a good library, why make such a sore spot in the library operation because of this one thing. And so that's why I think John did a good job in explaining what the answer would be. If you don't approve today, we certainly have some prime individuals that have applied also that might bring some new blood. So that's the important thing. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion among the supervisors.
Well, this is certainly a spirited issue, and it's great to have so much passion for, our library and our services in our community. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're here talking about our library and the positives that it has. And it's good government to have the discussion of differences we find. And that's been good discussion. I mean, it's great having really good people here today to share, their differences and us to have an open arena to do that. With that said, our job as the board is to approve or deny the appointment made by the mayor. And determining if it's a qualified candidate. And obviously my homework, I think this Ronnie appears to be qualified. I verified it, the residence is in the county in Bangor Township. And of course, all the accolades that everyone else has spoken about him. And so then you can go into the political speculation game of what happens next if denied today. If that would occur, the other option that the mayor could do is open it up to more applicants. There is no guarantee of who we will see as the next appointee if this is denied. And so with that said, I plan to support and vote yes for Ronnie today. But I do think it's important to note that it's okay to have differences in this, because as I will make that vote today, I also agree with Linda, Lee, John, and Ray. I personally think that the Epic Times and the American Recommend should be in the library. I don't see why it's a big deal. I don't see why there's a problem of not having it there. I think it should be in there. There's been a desire of a lot of patrons for a while that have wanted this. I would like to see the library reconsider that and make that happen. I think a good process of good government is to review it again. I think that would be wise, just because there's been a lot of attention to it. And for all those points that they've made, I completely agree. At the same time, holding up appointees for more uncertainty isn't necessarily the answer when the Board of Trustees, more so the City of Marshalltown as well, their governing body probably has more of a say on the issue of the periodicals that are in the library, more so than us as the Board of Supervisors. And so I'm happy to use this platform to say that I approve those in the library. But I've learned way more than I thought I would have learned on this. I spent a lot of time reading the trustees manual, different city ordinances, including the City of Marshalltown's. Lots of information has been provided to me. And I really appreciate all the people that are involved. One thing everyone can agree on today is I heard nothing but positive speak about the service that is provided at the library. And that's one thing that we all can rest our hats on today, that we're very happy and proud of that. And I think that's an important takeaway, as in any type of government, there's going to be differences, and in how we handle ourselves through the differences, I think, shows the character of our community. I appreciate the passion and the perseverance by those that are continuing to, fight for what they believe in. And I appreciate those on the library Board of Trustees and those employees as well for continuing what they do. And I'm sure that process of these periodicals will continue. But I'm willing to make the motion to move this along or entertain any questions or comments.
Kevin, do you have something you'd like to say?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Jared has said. I appreciate the process. I see no reason not to confirm this appointment. I don't personally know Mr. Manis. I do know Lee and Mr. Eaton, and I'm sure they would be qualified, great candidates also. I think it's important that those on the opposite side work with the new appointee, if he should be affirmed, and try to see that, Epic Times and the American Riflemen can find their way onto their shelves. Yeah, I see no reason not to, I'm gonna, so John, basically, he's made a motion.
Well, he hasn't yet.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah. I will just add that, I've known, if it were a different candidate, I'd be in a different situation, but I've known Ronnie Manis for 25 years, and his work has always been just outstanding for the school district, for the city of Marshalltown, and as a city volunteer, and a community, I would say not city volunteer, community volunteer, and having worked with him closely on community projects, I just have a hard time thinking he wouldn't be open-minded to hearing your viewpoints and trying to find some kind of resolution for this. It seems unfortunate that, this has kind of gotten to this level, but, I think Ronnie would be open to hearing viewpoints that are different from his. So, okay, John. Okay, Linda first.
Okay. Linda Clark again. I have been there. One of the things that has not been pointed out, the Times-Republican and the Des Moines Register is kept behind the counter. People were stealing those publications. And I publicly, at a library board meeting, I said, please consider putting these paid subscriptions for the Epic Times and the Rifleman Association there. They are paid. And that was not considered either. That is why I feel we need to have new blood. This person has been there before that the mayor has approved. This is a 2-year appointment. We would have 2 years. I have not attended every meeting like what John and Ray have, but we have been in the community and the county for a number of years, all of us. But thank you for considering that, and I think 2 years, we need to have new blood on the board. Thank you.
One more comment, then I'll leave.
Okay.
Does anybody know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I just have one last thing. I appreciate your work here, and I will keep you informed of how the county representation is handled on the board. You will be kept informed, because until recently, I didn't realize that we have not had representation for several years now, so that should change. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion, anyone?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to appoint Ronnie Manis to fill the vacancy through June 30th, 2028, and confirmation by the city council will follow.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Howe.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your discussion. Item number 12, approve Paul Geilenfeld employment contract and agreement renewal through November 30th, 2028. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I'll just start by saying Paul's contract ends the end of November, which As we all know, it's fast approaching.
It's fast approaching. Yes, yeah. Okay, so you should have access to the contract there that was posted with the agenda. I know Kevin is the liaison with Secondary Roads on behalf of the board. Paul and I also met and reviewed his current contract and looked at where our Marshall County Engineering position falls within the state of Iowa based on other counties and how that salary is, compares with other counties. And so we also reviewed some other aspects of his contract. Most of it that's before you is consistent with the previous contract. And we focused on, what the salary was. So, Paul, do you have any comments you want to make to the board right now?
Well, if you have the contract in front of you, the only changes were to, let's see, there were changes in section 4 where it talks about me being bonded, and we just expanded that to allow our insurance policy to fulfill the needs of that.
Because the bond is not enough money.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the only other changes were with 6, that was pay, and in item 7, you wanted some clarification on the personnel policy because I'm actually excluded as a contracted employee from the personnel policy. So section 7 says that I am not excluded from the personnel policy. And but if there is any conflict between the contract and the personnel policy, that the contract governs the issue. And so that was added. There used to be several sections that just reference the personnel policy, but this section just cleans it up and says personnel policy is what covers it.
Is what covers it, correct.
And then in section 8, there's a section that recognizes my 30-plus years in county engineering between Marshall and Jasper as the experience number that will be used in computing my vacation earnings through the personnel policy. And other than that,
I think it's pretty consistent.
I took a little off section 12 because it also referenced the personnel policy that I didn't need to section 12 is upon expiration of the contract, the engineer shall be paid for all unused, earned, and accrued vacation. And that's only in there because that wouldn't be retirement or, resignation, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just another thing that would allow me to get paid for my accrued vacation if the contract expires.
Expires,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
So those are the changes.
Yeah, and the current salary is $147,983.76. And actually is 36th in the state, I believe.
38.
38th, okay. 38th in the state. As you look at how it compares with several in the state with much less experience and similar population size counties or less at a higher level. And so the proposed amount would take it to $158,000, which still keeps it higher than or not the amount, but in the ranking higher than the 15th population size that we are. So we're still not quite there.
19th.
Yeah. And so I think, it's progress, but as we have discussed with, in our discussions regarding compensation board recommendations, we're kind of working to get salaries within the market and within where we are in comparison to the state population base, which we are 15th in that as a county. So, Kevin, you're the liaison for the group. I would defer to some comments from you.
Well, with working with Paul, this has been a very trying year. As we both know, I took several tours with Paul through the county roads of Marshall County, and you know, everyone's familiar with some of the things that have gone up here with 265th Street, and Paul's done a great job of always answering the phone and taking me on these tours, even at the last second. And Paul's a team player, and I think we're lucky to have him. I think he's an asset to this county, and I think we're trying to do you justice by moving you up the ladder quite a bit here, and so appreciate what you do for us.
I appreciate you.
Jarrett?
No, I echo those same sentiments that Kevin shared, and you know, this contract, approving this contract isn't saying every single road is perfect and everyone is happy with everything. And Paul has admitted that too, as it's important that we focus on the priorities of roads open, especially farmer markets during harvest, and then going back and making adjustments for the areas that are needed next in the priority list. So I think that's important to note. But Paul has been a great team player. He answers the phone every time we call when there's a situation, explains it very well to us, and I'm happy to approve this contract today.
Paul, I would say I appreciate the work you do too. You're always very receptive to our feedback, and you know, I know sometimes we push on you on like why are things happening, or why are some things the way they are, or can't we do this, and you're very patient in explaining, you know, why you have your priorities the way they are, of which I appreciate, and they make good sense. But I also appreciate the fact that you're willing to step out and look at new opportunities. And I think some of what you're doing with the project over by Marshall Ridge Dairy is a good example of, you know, we haven't done that before. We haven't tapped into those resources before, and I appreciate the fact that you're opening up some new funding opportunities for Marshall County, and you're willing to do the work that it takes to do that, because it's not always comfortable trying to explore those opportunities. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. I think that we can always do better.
Yeah.
No matter what we're doing, we can do it better.
So, okay, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve Paul Gottenfeld employment contract and agreement renewal through 11/30/2028 and authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Emily would like to say something.
Emily Herring, Marshall County Conservation Director. I have a very small staff, and I think Marshall County has amazing department heads, and Paul is someone that I can always rely on, and he's always helping me, and I appreciate having him, and I'm glad you guys are continuing as a contract. He definitely deserves it. That's all.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul. We appreciate all you're doing. Item number 13, reappoint Dr. Wendy Thiessen to the Marshall County Board of Health, term dates January 1st, 2024 through December 31, 2027. So I think is that a typo, or 2024?
Should be 2026 through 2028.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up above, yeah.
Yeah, up
Should be
above
what
is the
it- what is
typo.
underneath.
Yeah. So it's January 1st, 2026 through
Six.
December 31st, 2028. Yes. Okay.
Must have got the updated version.
Oh, got the updated?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have printed it out before. Okay. Any questions from this group, from the board? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion to reappoint Dr. Wendy Thiessen to the Marshall County Board of Health, term dates January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
All right. Item number 14, approve CEO shared liability 28E and authorize the chair to sign.
And Kevin, this was the one that you knew about
Yeah,
after I had Jordan do a bunch of research on it.
yeah. So I was on the board of the South Central Iowa Workforce Development Agency, and due to federal and state cuts, they were no longer able to remain viable as a board, an agency, so it was agreed upon with the board members to merge with another workforce development board, with the Mississippi Valley Board, and it will be now known as the Eastern Iowa Workforce Development Area. And I think it's something that we have been involved with in the past, and it's just simply merging into another area due to budget constraints. So,
Okay. Any questions, Jarrett? Okay.
No questions.
Would you like to make that motion, Kevin?
yeah, I move that we approve the CEO shared liability 28E and authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
All right. Item number 15, Resolution 2025-0027, reappropriation of funds for FY 2025-2026 budget. This, I don't know if you want to comment, Nan, but we're basically at a partial appropriation of 50%, and this
Yeah, this Maria
reappropriates.
This reappropriates the second half of the year.
Okay.
So it's just the full, it's the remainder. Maria, yeah, did the full appropriation. She spent a lot of time watching everything, so cost us time in our department, but
Okay.
oh well.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to do the complete reappropriation of funds for 2025-26 budget.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Item number 16, Resolution 2025-0028, elect unemployment method after termination of 28E agreement with ISAC Group Unemployment.
When I went to ISAC in August, we were kind of in an unemployment group with several other counties, and they said that our 28E would need to end, and we kind of had a process of some choices, and the group actually met with the legal counsel there at ISAC, and so we have several documents here, going through the process and filling all the new paperwork out. We will receive a share of the unemployment funds in the total, because there is a big share sitting there. And we get to re-sign up for unemployment. Previously, we filled out the forms and sent it into ISAC, and then they combined them all together into one document. And now we'll just be sending them in ourselves.
Okay.
And so they had been doing this a long, long time, like before computers. Yeah,
Wow.
this is something that's been done an extremely long time. With the amount of money we're getting back, there was kind of some choices about whether we would become a new employer for 3 years and pay the real high rate, or the amount of money we have, we can look at, kind of self-funding and we will pay our own unemployment claims. And as Maria and I really looked at it, we think we should do it that way. We've got nearly $100,000 coming from the fund right now, and we will be getting more funds as well.
So we'll manage our own.
We'll manage our own, and we'll pay, we'll get the notices of when somebody has an unemployment claim, and do the calls, do those things. If it's
Sure.
a department head we need to reach out to,
Yep.
we'll do so, just as we have in the past.
Okay.
So, they said, the other attorney that was helping us, it was actually prior to her being born, as we were working through that, so it was, kind of made us all giggle. But they're not allowing these type of group plans anymore,
Okay.
so
All right. Thank you.
change is good, right?
Okay. Thank you for the information. Is there a motion?
I move that we adopt the resolution 2025-2028, elect unemployment method after termination 28 agreement with ISAC Group Unemployment.
I will second.
Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Heil,
Yes.
All right. Item number 17, approve annual urban renewal report. And the report was attached to the agenda. Do you have any comments you want to make?
Sarah got that completed last Thursday. Everything looked great and balanced, and life was good. So, last year when I did it, I had to hand it out at the meeting. So that tells you how much better Sarah is at this than I am. So, but yes, everything looks real good, and this is for out at Consumers. That's our
area.
our gateway. This is for our TIF, so our urban renewal out there.
Okay.
We have one more year on that, so we're winding down on this. This is almost over, so,
All right.
yeah.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Quick question for you, Nan. Was there anything that jumped out at you in the report? When I looked through it, everything looked pretty standard and normal from what we've seen before. Just, was there anything that jumped out at you at all?
No, there was a few updates. There was a little bit of cleanup, and our auditor, we talked to Brian about this. Last year, as we met with Consumers, there was a little bit of overstating of some of our information. We found that over the course of last year, and he said when we got this report completed and approved, that we should send it to him so that he's got that documented. He agreed with all of our updated numbers, but then wanted this report. So, yes.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to approve the annual urban renewal report for fiscal year 24-25.
I'll second that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Heil,
Yes.
All right. Item number 18, review county attorney Westlaw contract and authorize the county attorney to sign. Keel.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Kyoko Kiefer, and I'm an assistant Marshall County attorney. So as county attorneys, we use many tools when we prosecute criminal statutes, as well as when we're reviewing civil statutes for various items. Some of those items that the board would bring to us, various items civilly come up throughout our year. Westlaw is one of those tools. It is a service. There's two big services, if you didn't know. There's Westlaw and there's LexisNexis. We've typically used Westlaw. There was a product, our contract, I should back up, comes due, and I think it's at the end of the month. And that's why we had to get this agenda item on. There's a product that is becoming kind of obsolete. And so Jordan has met with Westlaw, saw all of the options that we had. He believes in being fiscally responsible. And so he's reviewed the service as a whole, what items our office is using versus isn't using. And so what he's come up with is a contract. I believe it's at least 24 months long, where the initial terms would be a savings compared to our last contract of $850. And then as the years progress, it then goes down to still being $25 cheaper. And in a landscape where everything is getting more expensive, I find this to be a great deal. But I can tell you that we use Westlaw almost on a daily basis. So it is one of those tools that is necessary for our practice, for us to be able to make arguments, to look over laws, to give legal advice to the various county departments. So we just ask that you approve this contract so we can keep working into December.
Okay. So it looks like 24 months, so 2 years, and that's, what, was it 3 years before that?
So I don't know what the previous length of the contract was, but I know that the tool that we were using is
It's obsolete.
yes,
Yeah.
it's going to be obsolete. So it was only going to be able to be renewed for like a year's time.
Okay,
Hopefully that answers your question.
it does. That's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. Thank you, Kia. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Jarrett, anything, or Kevin?
No, thank you for that report.
Thank you. That's helpful. Is there a motion?
Were we not going to have public comment on that, please?
Oh, do you have?
Public comment? I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Linda Clark, 306 South Second Avenue. And I can remember back in the day when we had the law library right here in this beautiful courthouse, and I got to use the books. I looked over this issue, and I sort of have a little question. I know you need to renew it, but I have a question. It says in there that they can use artificial intelligence to do work. And I wondered if the county attorney's office would be using artificial intelligence to look up reports. Thank you. That's the question I have for you.
Thank you, Linda.
And I hope you don't.
So we did not opt for the option that would give us the full capacity of the AI tool. I understand Ms. Clark's concerns. We still check our sources to see whether they're good law. It was an option, but that's not what we chose.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I was hoping that was going to be my answer.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we review the county attorney, that we renew the county attorney contract and authorize the county attorney to sign.
I will second.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Goodman,
Yes?
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to item 19, public forum. Time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on these topics brought up in public forum. Linda?
Linda Clark, 306 South Second Avenue. I have been reading the paper, which I'm grateful that I learned how to read. And Marshall County and the city, we have public and private things working together. And so this is all new to me. But anyway, what I want to talk about is We have these ATV vehicles that are being used out on the roadways. We've had accidents with them. You read about that in the paper. I also read in the paper about the protesting of the illegals. And we know we have law. Without law, we have nothing. And so at my age, I am being concerned about how my property taxes are being affected. I am looking at that more, and I very much appreciated the man with the financial talk that he gave today, because I'm at that place. I did make good choices, thank God. But there are persons that don't own homes. I own my home, but I also am aware that if I do not pay my property taxes, it can be sold for a sheriff's sale. And I think at my age, or anyone else at my age, if we own our home, I have been told, the county recorders has said, because we have abstract of title, I do not need to worry about somebody hacking and taking my property description and stealing my property, because I have been told that. And if I'm wrong, Nan, correct me. But anyway, see, I always have been able to go right to the person that had the knowledge, and I got to talk to them. And I've always appreciated this courthouse. I was a part of saving it so it didn't get demolished. And I'm very pleased that we have this. But now at my age, I'm worrying about, okay, are they going to raise my property taxes to the place that I can't afford it and my name might be on a sheriff's sale? But I see that our county, sheriff has left. But I very much appreciate the work that that man does. He has a very hard job. He has to do the whole entire county. And we are now singled out a lot. Marshalltown City, Marshall County. And so I am proud that I am in Iowa, and I have lived 3/4 of a century at my house here. And I have had made accusations against me that I was demoralizing. And most people that know me personally know that doesn't happen. I had bank accounts closed, and it's public record with the Attorney General's office because of that statement by the CEO. I didn't do anything wrong. But anyway, thank you, everybody. Dan knows how much I appreciate all the hard work she does, and I know our county audits and everything are always thumbs up, just like our sheriff, he's doing everything, thumbs up. And I just don't want to be concerned about anything. And so thank you so much that you haven't limited my time. And there were those people that stayed to hear me speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. Any other public comment? Okay.
Blaze Ware, Marshall County Assessor. I will be meeting with Vanguard Appraisals on Monday, the 24th, to kind of start going over the reappraisal project with them. My residential letters for like Res on Ag, I believe Res 3 Plus and residential should be hitting people's mailboxes around Thanksgiving, so they'll be seeing those kind of letters. Hopefully, either this week or by Monday, I'll have some information of vehicle information or pictures of the people that will be going out starting in December to work with IT to put out on our website with that letter. So I just wanted to update the Board of Supervisors on that project.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vice.
Thank you. Okay.
So that's the letter telling me how much my property is going up?
No.
No, this letter is to inform the taxpayers of Marshall County that there is an outside company that we have hired to come out and do property appraisals. So if you want to, you can allow them in your home to do an interior or exterior inspection. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can answer their questions.
Or I can refuse to answer.
You can refuse the answer. They will also estimate if
They can
there's.
go ahead and look at the outside, everything is beautiful, and I have insurance.
Yep.
And I pay my property taxes on time. Okay.
Yep, yeah, it's just that they'll come through, they'll ask
They
questions.
can just go by and look at them.
Yep, if you tell them to get off the property, they will listen to that.
I don't answer the door.
Okay.
Because that's something that's been posted here in Marshalltown. A person showed her camera on her door, this person knocking, trying to get in. I do not open the door for nobody.
Okay. I just want to let everyone know that's kind of what the letters are
Oh,
about.
good, I'll ignore it.
So,
Not gonna ruin my Thanksgiving. Thank you.
but that's what the letter is about, just saying that they'll be coming out. We'll have pictures of the people on our website, like I was saying.
Thank you.
And I'm sure Blaze will be available after the meeting if you
Yeah,
want to
if
talk to him.
there's any questions, I'm always available. I think in the letter I did
I'll
state,
talk to him up in his office.
to call me
Okay.
too as well.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not demoralized.
No, you're good. I just
you.
want to explain that, what the letter was.
I know, thank you, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 20, closed session per Iowa Code 21.5, 1C. I would entertain a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to 21.3 subsection 1, paragraph C of the Code of Iowa.
And use your best judgment like you always do. God bless everybody, have a happy
Do you want to make the motion, Kevin?
Sure. I'll move that we go into closed session per Iowa Code 21.5, Section 1, Paragraph C, litigation at 10:55.
The signy stuff.
10:55.
I will second that.